K-pop girl group Weeekly released their 5th mini album, ColoRise, on November 1st, 2023. I'm Courdy Roy, and welcome to BlushCat, track by track. Howdy meowers, welcome back to another BlushCat track by track. I haven't done one for a while, but today I'm doing Weeekly's ColoRise album. So they had this comeback after a long time. They did have the special single Good Day that was released in September, but their last comeback promotions that they had before this album were with the Play Game Awake single album and Venpara as the title track, but that was in March 2022. So I'm really glad that they finally did have a comeback. And we have a lot of great songs on this mini album that I'll be sharing my opinions on today. And they now do have the single Stranger, and that's available in an English version as well. So they have had another release even since this mini album, but I really wanted to do a track by track on it, and I just never got around to it. So I'm doing that now. If you aren't familiar with track by tracks, they are available on both YouTube and Spotify. I'll just, give a little explanation once again if you haven't heard the other ones. If you listen on Spotify, you'll hear each song from the album I'm reviewing play right before my commentary. If you're on YouTube, there is a visual accompaniment, but you're going to have to play the songs from the artist's profile or something like that yourself. Maybe it's annoying or something, I don't really know, but I do try to leave a pause after I finish one track and before I start talking about another one. I mainly do that so that it's hopefully not shocking for Spotify listeners with a sudden volume difference, but I also hoped that it would maybe be helpful for YouTube listeners to have some time to pause and pull up the tracks before I start talking about the next one if you are actually listening along as I do my commentary. So anyway, I really just share whatever random thoughts I have while listening to the tracks, and sometimes I'm going to talk about the lyrics, so maybe you'll find it interesting or notice something about the songs that you never noticed before, or you can just use the track by tracks as a way to listen to the albums if you haven't heard them yet. So I'm finally going to get started now with track 1, ODYSSEY. I really like ODYSSEY. I think that it's a really nice intro track because I find this to be a common thing, and I have said other track 1 songs in other albums that I've done track by tracks on have sounded like this, but to me it feels like motion, and it just makes it a great intro track, I guess, to me. So it's very echoey and also light toned in a way. And this will be a very random comment, okay, but it reminds me slightly of the Milk Bar music from Zelda, mostly the beginning, but I don't know, maybe somebody out there will have the same thought and think it kind of sounds like that too. I don't know. It has this sort of runway beat too, in a way that makes me think of a title sequence for a show or something like that, but I could definitely picture the title cards, of a TV show with a splash effect and colors sort of blending together, kind of like their album art almost. And so then to have this song sort of playing along with it, I don't really know how to convey what I'm trying to get at, but basically this song just sounds sort of high class, but also with this bright and fun element to it, which is cool. And I like that it reminds me of lighthearted and youthful shows, or even fashion games, things like that. That sort of spirit and bright energy works well with the actual song because ODYSSEY in itself is, adventure and a journey, so I'm getting the idea of taking on a new challenge with a positive and youthful sort of mindset. It also makes me think of flowers blooming, which is starting again and ties in with our concept. The message is similar to Vroom Vroom, which I'll get into shortly, but the lyrics of the verses and pre-choruses convey that they're starting a new chapter and like they're gaining the confidence to move forward, which is a good reason to have this song as track 1. I particularly like the lyrics. The right answer is not important. I'll believe in myself for once. And again, I'm using English translations of the lyrics that are in Korean, but if you are watching it on YouTube, I have both the Korean lyrics and the English lyrics written there. So that was track 1, Odyssey. Now I'll move on to track 2, Vroom Vroom. Vroom Vroom is the title track for this album. We did already talk about it in the November K-pop comebacks episode, so if you want to hear my initial thoughts, you can go ahead and listen to that episode of the podcast. The chorus is so catchy, and there's a lot of lyrics that I really like. The opening line, "Time to be brave," is so powerful, and I love how the music is very faint and simple at that part, so that Zoa's voice really echoes sort of, and like the message resonates. And it also ties well with Odyssey's opening line, which is, "Take a step, slowly gather your courage." I also love Soeon's tone a lot generally, but it adds an extra element to this song for me, especially her lines in the first verse when the beat starts to pick up a little bit. I think that moment works really well. The entire first verse is sort of a message to themselves and about their concept shift in a way, but if you take in the lyrics a little more, the whole song is kind of about that. Like, I feel that it's explaining to us that the members are gearing towards a different style and heading in a little bit of a different direction. So I think that Vroom Vroom really means more than it may appear to mean on the surface, and it's actually very fitting lyrically to signify this new direction they're going to explore. And it also doesn't really matter what direction they're going in or if they have setbacks, but it's like they're telling us in this song that they're just going to enjoy the ride and keep chasing their dream. Jihan's line in the pre-chorus, "Watch the landscape" or "watch the scenery gradually changing," is a really good line to me in terms of how the Korean sounds. I really like the emphasis on pungyong, which is scenery. I love the pacing of this song. It starts slow and empty sounding, but then it gradually picks up pace, and at the chorus it's so fun and up-tempo to match with the lyrics. Then Jihan's "It makes me feel so good" line at the bridge with like the horn sounds leading into the last chorus is so good. It's building up one last time for the grand finale. I also like that this song definitely has a retro feel to it, but not in a super obvious way that has been very popular and trendy in title tracks. It's done a little bit differently, and it's not being like thrown in your face that it's trying to sound retro, but it definitely has those synth sounds and groove. So I really like Vroom Vroom. I listened to it a lot. I think it was a really good title track for them in a little bit of a different style than what we're used to, and I really like it. So now I'll move on to track 3, Backwards. Okay, so the beginning is a little bit creepy, maybe, but I think it's clever because it sounds like when the songs get reversed, so it is like backwards, and I think that this song has a really nice drum beat. Once again, it's feeling like motion to me, so I'm really seeing the Vroom Vroom theme tying in well. It definitely has Promise 9 vibes to me. I get that a lot, and I'll say that about another track as well, so it's interesting because Promise has, the very bright and fun sort of songs, but they also have tried some more classy and refined songs, and I can definitely see some similarities in their style, but it's not something that I think of right away. Like, I don't, strongly think that Weeekly and Promise are similar a lot, but I'm definitely getting Promise vibes from some of these tracks. I was surprised, but glad to see that they ended up promoting this one a little bit. It's something that's very different than what we've seen from Weeekly. It's a bit more sophisticated with a little bit of like a glam style, and I like that they decided to promote it. It's giving BTS Pied Piper a little bit lyrically to me. Some of the lyrics, like the line, "Trying to leave, but it feels like I'm here. The farther you go, the more you're drawn to me," just make me think of the kind of messages that they have in that BTS song. There's a very hypnotic sound to this song, and the message of pressing reverse as soon as you leave and going backwards is like they're telling us to play the song again. I think that this song could have a couple different interpretations, but to fit into the theme of this album about moving in a new direction, it would tie in because it's like they're saying, even if you decide to leave, you'll end up going back to them in their sound and group because you're drawn to them. Monday's lyrics, "Can't you know, the past is infused with the deep spreading scent of the flowers," really contribute to that hypnotic feeling that I'm getting, and I think it's a really good line. I think that this is a good track, and it's showing us a different side of Weeekly, and it's very captivating and bewitching almost, in like this sense that it's trying to lure us in. I definitely get it stuck in my head a lot, and in the way I feel like this song is asking me to, I want to like replay it once it finishes. So really good track, something different from them. I do enjoy it. Next is track 4, Sweet Dream. This is a different sounding song for Weeekly, but I think it's pretty good. I'm not too keen on the intro, but those like tones or sounds don't really happen again in the song, so like it's fine. The rap part where they talk about flavor and some of the beats to it in general remind me of Yeon's Cherry Coke. Just saying. I had no idea that this was just a Soojin, Monday, Soyeon, and Zoe unit. Like, I literally didn't notice when I was first hearing the song, like the first couple of times, but it is, and I think that's really interesting. And they actually also have another unit song on this album, not the members, but the other members have a song of their own. So I think that's really interesting, and it's something that I didn't notice when I was first listening. It's once again a captivating sort of track that lures you in. It has a mythical element to it, and it's reminding me of Venpara a little, but like this is done way better in my opinion. It has a lot of moments without lyrics for dance, which suit the members, and once again, we're seeing a different side of Weeekly. It also kind of reminds me conceptually of T.by.T's Sugar Rush Ride, because there's those darker moments for the dance, but then the verses come out of the darkness a bit, but there's still a dreamy element during the lighter parts. There's definitely a dream theme in this album that I'll bring up again. This song is more obviously stating the dreamy element, but it's clear in their other tracks lyrically and melodically, and I think that's a concept that ties well with colors. So to me, everything was executed very well this time around. I'll talk about that a little more in the overall comments of the album, but for now, let's move on to track 5. So this is the other unit song, as I mentioned when talking about Sweet Dream. This time it's a Jaehee Jihan unit, and I think that's great that we're getting to see different sides from the members, and they kind of divided the concepts a little bit. So I really like this one because it's our classic school concept Weeekly that we're all familiar with. It's bright, upbeat, it's fun, and I'm so glad that they included a song like this and didn't completely abandon what they do so well. As I said before, I had no idea that this was just Jaehee and Jihan. Like, I had no idea about the unit songs, but they both suit this concept so well, and I'm glad that they did a track like this. As I said, I was curious to hear Jihan in particular in their songs with the shifted concept, because I think that her light and sort of bubbly tone makes Weeekly's school sounding songs so distinct, and I think that she suits that genre really well. But I think now she's shown she can do many sounds, but I'm glad that we still get to hear her doing the lighter and fun sound as well. I love the transition into the chorus with the lyrics, "I can't stop." That line has already built us up, so we get to enter the happy and bright chorus. And I also like the lyrics in general. It's very confidence boosting, and it once again has that youthful mindset. We're also having a return of the dream theme, because in the bridge they say, "If it's a dream, I don't want to wake up." And then I like the line that follows, "I like myself just as I am right now." I also think there's a fun line in the pre-chorus that goes, "I'll become more perfect no matter what they say. I'm cool, baby." There's a little breakdown moment that happens, which is unexpected, but I think it's working, and it's also tying in some of the darker, more powerful elements that we're getting from tracks like Backwards and Sweet Dream. I just think it's so cute and fun, and I love the chorus, and I just really like songs like this in general. Now I'm moving on to the last track, Ruby-Duby-Du. Okay, so track 6, this is already the last track, and I honestly didn't think that I would like the title, Ruby-Duby-Du, but I do. I like the song, so the title has it's become just so cute and fun, and I really like it. I really like the opening of this song. Once again, it's simple beats and Zoa starts, but it's very echoey and soft, so it reminds me of Vroom, Vroom, which makes the album more cohesive to keep being reminded of other tracks and being able to pick out certain elements that remind me of the other tracks, so I think that's really good. This one reminds me of From-9 as well. It also sounds like an old 2000s song in a way, but I don't get overall retro vibes. I don't think of it as being another one of the retro releases that's been overtaking K-pop, but I think it's a little old school in a way, so I find it kind of comforting or something like that. I really like the lyrics at the chorus and the melody of it, so I'm going to share most of them right now. Not the whole chorus, but a good portion. So there are the lines, "Just like a ruby, glowing all red flames, moon filled with pink water, humming Ruby-Duby-Du." And once again, those are that's most of the chorus, just a couple lines that I didn't say right now, but I think this song is very dreamlike. The whole song kind of exists in a dream, and I think not only the lyrics, but also the singing style and music reflects that. The sound of the music at the very, very last moment, where it sounds like it's shutting off, but it's a guitar sound. We can hear little twangs of it throughout the song, and after each chorus, it kind of has that little moment, that little sound. That part sounds like the end of UA's song, Catch the Stars, but even more so the end of From-9 to Heart. And I really love both of those songs, and I love the vibes that they have. They're also very youthful songs, so it's really good that I'm reminded of those songs. And I think that sound that I'm hearing in Ruby-Duby-Du makes the song warmer and brighter, and it also gives it a bit of a school sound. So I think this song is a good blend of all of the concepts they're showing us in this album. They're showing us some dreamy and alluring sides, the self-reflecting and moody sides, and the cute and bright sides, and then there's the youthful and fun sides, which is what we all know Weeekly for with most of their previous title tracks. Overall, it's a great release after a long time. I was surprised to see that Good Day Special Daily wasn't on the album. It was just a single after all, I guess, but it was really good, and I enjoyed that track a lot as well. I think it would have tied in well with the dream theme they had, so I would have liked to see it included on the album, but the album is good how it is as well, so I can't complain too much. It is another short album though. I get that these are called mini albums, but like it's definitely the trend lately to make very short songs in general. Something I noticed while listening is that many of these songs on this album have like a lengthy section of no lyrics or minimal lyrics, which is something that I find interesting. I know a couple instances are meant as like breakdowns, moments for dance break probably, especially with Sweet Dream, as we know those members are pretty dance focused, but I just thought that was interesting. But I am pleased with this album. I don't think any concept was forced. I don't think the shift from the school concept was drastic like what they tried with Venpara. I don't think it's trying too hard to follow any trends, but it's also not trying too hard to stand out again like Venpara. Venpara was kind of like a dive into a new concept out of nowhere, but ColoRise and Vroom Vroom as the title track are kind of like testing the waters. They're easing us into a different concept if that is something that they want to do. I know that's been explained a little bit, that they are having a concept change, and that's why they had Good Day with the graduation, as in they're graduating the school concept. But I think that this is a much better and more natural way of trying out a different style. I am curious to know how the members for the unit songs were decided. Like, I'd like to know, was it based on personal preference or like who the producers or company thought suited the concepts better? I think that it's just a very easy and fun listen for an album. I think it's good to put on whenever. And there's some different styles in there, but nothing too drastic in any direction. We've still got the fun classic Weeekly style school sound. We've got some chill and retro sounds. And then we also have some of that, a pink, classy flair added to signal that growth. The dream theme is carried out well. There's lyrics relating to the members' dreams and ambitions, viewing certain situations, with positivity and wanting to stay in the dream, things like that, which are included very naturally to me. And I'm definitely getting the message I think that they're trying to send, but it's not being overstated. I can also hear in the music itself a dreamy vibe or surreal element, like the echo sounds, the breakdowns that are in Sweet Dream and A+, for example, the moments of emptiness or like not heavy instrumentals before the beat kicks in or picks up. And then there's even pretty softer twinkling sort of sounds like in Ruby-Duby-Du. Those are all very dreamlike to me. There's also a flowery feeling to the songs and lyrical references to flowers, and like I said earlier, it's fitting because of the idea of wanting to start again or move in a new direction. And there's also flower imagery in a lot of the material for this comeback as well. So I am seeing all the concepts tie in. All of the different things that they included in the tracks make me really appreciate their theme for this album more. And I think that the dream concept itself is still very Weeekly because the chasing your dreams side of the lyrics is very youthful and ambitious, and we still have songs that have a lighter and brighter sound to them, and I think it's working well this time. I also think the members' tones blend really nicely together and fit well with these songs. I didn't even notice there were unit songs, which can show that, the members are strong enough to carry those styles of songs, and they really utilized the members' strengths. Sweet Dream is showing us that those members are strong in like a deeper and enchanting sort of sound, and A+ is showing us that those members are strong in bright concepts and they have lighter tones. But then when we look at the other tracks, their voices are used really well to develop the progression, like Zoa and Soan's Vroom Vroom intro. Jaehee's voice is great for moments in songs like Ruby-Duby-Du that sort of repeat, or follow a main line but in a brighter tone. So I think that they did a good job with this album showcasing the different abilities of all of the members. So to wrap up, I think that this is a great album. It's a very dreamy sounding EP, and I think ColoRise is a good name for it because we're getting a nice blend of different colors and styles, and everything's combining really well, and it's showing the different strengths of the members and Weeekly as a whole. So you can go ahead and comment which track from this mini album is your favorite. If you are listening on YouTube, you can go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed hearing my thoughts. Subscribe to the BlushCat channel on YouTube and turn on notifications. Follow the BlushCat podcast on Spotify and follow BlushCat's Spotify profile. And be sure to follow BlushCat's other host, Devin, at Devin Christie on all platforms. Thank you for listening. Stay meowin'. This has been Courdy Roy.